Welcome to Tantra Vidya, the first institute of impeccable wisdom, the walking, talking encyclopedia. Anahata Chakra, the Thymus Endocrine Gland. My mission, the impeccable wisdom, knowing which everything is fully known. My greatest discovery, Devyank, the divine design of nature with which the perfect objects are designed and created. Divyank is the reward of 60 years of integrated education. Impeccable wisdom is enlightening, and integrated knowledge is empowering. Anahata Chakra. Let's understand this fourth chakra according to Sat Chakra Nirupana. As I've been saying, Sat Chakra Nirupana is an ancient Indian book on Tantra or Tantra Vidya. It's one of the very acknowledged, widely read, and accepted as an authority on chakras. And according to Sat Chakra, there are 7 chakras. The first is Mooladhara, second is Swadhisthana, third is Nabhi or Manipura, the fourth is Anahata, fifth is Vishuddhi, sixth is Agnya, and Sahasrara is the seventh one. Now, from this classification, Anahata becomes the fourth chakra. In that light, let's understand this particular symbolic representation from the book The Serpent Power by Avalon. You can see the seed mantra for this is Yam. Mooladhara is Lam. Swadhisthana is Vam. Nabhi or Manipura is Ram. And Anahata is Yam. Madhyam. Okay, now Anahata also means unstrung sound. That means it is a center of Mantra Vidya or chanting of sound, phonetic sounds to be in tune with nature. Mantras. This also talks of Surya Mandala, the sun god. That means Anahata is closely associated with sun god. Now, keeping this in mind, let me review again. Mooladhara Chakra is connected with Earth. Swadhisthana is connected with Venus. Nabhi or Manipura is connected with Mercury. And Usha Chakra, according to Akhand Vidyashram, is associated with rays of sun called Usha Kiran. So I think from that angle, the rays, which are very powerful, have tremendous amount of influence on atmosphere around the sun, is associated with Usha Chakra, which according to Akhand is the fourth center, and Anahata is associated with Surya. So this becomes fifth as far as Akhand is concerned, and fourth as far as Sat Chakra is concerned. Let that also be very clear. The symbol as in this particular chakra is concerned, you can see a hexagonal shape in the middle. You can see Yam in Devanagari script. You can see hexagonal right in the middle. And that represents Vayu or hexagonal. At this juncture, let me also explain. Kekule revealed or discovered the symbol of benzene ring by seeing a dream of snake eating its own tail. And based on that, he created benzene ring, hexagonal shape with 6 carbons and hydrogen. And that has been a turning point in the symbolic representation of organic chemistry. Hats off to him that he started a symbolic representation of organic chemistry. Now, next is the number of lotus petals. According to Anahata, Sat Chakra Nirupana has got 12 petals. I have absolutely no doubts about it. And they represent 12 letters of Devanagari script, as you can see in the outer petals. I have no issues with that. Quite beautiful. And vehicle is a black jumping antelope. That means it is associated with the heart, the mind, and is jumping or fluctuating or flirting or fleeting all the time. You have to keep this under check. And location is just the heart center of consciousness. Presiding deity, as far as Sat Chakra Nirupana is concerned, is Surya, the sun god. Presiding goddess is Devi Kakni with 4 heads. And inside the triangle, you can see Shivling called Bhana. So from that, I would say the description of this particular center has lot of cryptic aspects which I would like to explore and explain the same thing in the light of intimate form of symbol which I have created, which should make things much more easier. In other words, criticism of Sanatana Dharma or ancient wisdom to use symbols of animate forms of gods and goddesses and animals to represent elements of the nature and idol worship, etc. To avoid the confusion, the same concept can also be made into a totally inanimate structures or symbols, and I can tell you classification of scientific concepts without the use of symbols, logos, abbreviations would be impossible. So science has accepted that symbolic representation makes writing much more simple and clarified. Once you know a symbol, you know what it stands for. As a matter, ambiguity of the language medium can be minimized by using symbols. From that angle, let me reveal these concepts with a new symbol which I have created. Now look at Anahata right on top and look at the symbol which I have created. And I have made it very clear that each chakra is associated also with an endocrine gland. Mooladhara with scattered endocrine glands which produce fragrance or smell in perineal region. Swadhisthana with reproductive endocrine glands. Nabhi or Manipura with adrenal gland. Usha chakra with pancreas. And Anahata with thymus gland, which is endocrine gland, which most of people are not even aware of. That's the reason why I have used thymus endocrine gland. I wanted to highlight that it's the endocrine gland. It's not only for immunity alone. Let me explain with evidence. Vayu, air or hexagonal symbol, you can see the same symbol you have seen in animate form, in this also in the middle, which is almost like benzene ring or calculus organic chemistry. And Vayu is something which goes up, and so is benzene, so is hexagonal shape. So that way, spirituality and science coming to one space and saying we are two sides of the same coin. Now, Anahata is associated with the upper 6 thoracic vertebrae and upper 6 segments of the thoracic spinal cord. And the spinal nerves which arise from those are 12, like the lower 6 thoracic vertebrae, spextrainer, from which Usha comes, is also 12. So that is 12, this is also got 12. And planet, which is the presiding deity of solar system, the sun, the center around which all the planets of solar system revolve, is the center. Then that's why it's also called Yam or Madhyam. I think that's also point is becoming very clear. Now, why thymus is the endocrine gland? It is responsible for immunity one. But how does it do? The hormones which are thymolin, thymomycin, and also thymoprotein erythropoietin, which play a very important role in activating cell-mediated immunity for the body. I'll be explaining to that in subsequent slides. Now, vagus nerve, cranial parasympathetic, is form one with which Anahata is associated, which tries to cool heart and lungs quietly, particularly heart. And sympathetic system, which is associated with heart, or Anahata Chakra at the chest, is through the cardiac plexus, and that has got 12 nerves. So now again, science and spirituality finding a common ground. And this is, as we know, sympathetic system gets stimulated when this center is disturbed. So you can say Anahata is closely associated with mind, sun-moon conjunction, lungs, heart, and fluctuations of the mind and mental activity. So fluctuation, etc. is very common. So now, what was animate form into inanimate form, I have tried to explain. Now let's try to understand things little more in detail within. Let's say thymus, the endocrine gland. You can see thymus gland, which is located behind the sternum, and it has got outer capsule. You can see the picture in the middle. Then you have interlobular septum, middle cortex, and inner medulla. Almost all the endocrine glands you have, like adrenal cortex, there are 3 layers of adrenal cortex and then adrenal medulla. Similarly, you have a capsule, you have cortex, and then you have medulla in the center. This is a beautiful structure where even kidneys it is seen. Even the brain also you can see, the cortex as well as medulla oblongata. Now, how T cells mediated immunity takes place. The hormones I have written are thymulin, thymopoietin, thymulin, and lung hormone angiotensin is also produced in the lungs, which plays very important role in the formation of aldosterone, which helps in the absorption of water and sodium and expulsion of potassium, which maintains homeostasis. So you can see immunity also plays a role. It also plays a role in maintaining blood volume, blood chemistry, electrolyte balance, etc. Now on the left side you can see different stages of T cell mediated immunity. This yolk sac stem cells are the first one in the first trimester. Then fetal liver cell from which T cells are produced, and third trimester onward, it is the bone marrow stem cells which lead to the production of T cells. You have 2 types of B cells, which are bone marrow, and when they go to thymus, they become T cells. So from that angle, these cells which are responsible for immunity are lymphocytes. B lymphocytes are produced in yolk sacs, this and bone marrow, and then when they go into the thymus, they become T cells. Okay, only coming to Anahata, they start becoming T cells. And from blood circulation, the cells would have come to heart. Stem cells in thymus, you can see. Then thymus small lymphocytes, thymus derived T cells are how they are formed and how they finally go to spleen for dissolution. This whole string is the production of B cells in the bone marrow, which are associated with hormonal immunity. T cells are produced in the thymus, which has result for T cells mediated immunity. So from that, both humoral as well as cell mediated immunity make sure that we can be perfectly healthy and there will not be any problem whatsoever. Now let's see the association of this particular center with the sympathetic system. As I told you, this is associated with the cardiac plexus, which literally those preganglion fibers which come from upper part of the thoracic vertebrae to form the paravertebral chains, and from there fibers continue into the cardiac plexus and then go and supply heart and lungs. That is sympathetic, and as a result, heart functions normally and lungs also function properly. So association with heart and lungs and chest of Anahata and sympathetic system is very clearly seen in this. And of course, the lower centers, you can see how in subsequent I have added new things going into that. Anahata Chakra is also associated with the vagus nerve. That was a sympathetic. This is for parasympathetic. As you can see, and I have shown right under parasympathetic division, is preganglion fibers are long and they produce acetylcholine, and postganglion fibers are short, almost in the gargan to be supplied, and neurotransmitter produces again acetylcholine. The picture of Vijnana Chakra I have shown to represent the head center of parasympathetic system, or cranial parasympathetic system, or autonomic nervous system is hypothalamus. And below is brainstem, which is associated with Agnya Chakra, which we are going to talk in subsequent videos. And vagus nerve originates from medulla oblongata, part of the brainstem, and these fibers through the vagus nerve can go and supply the counterparts of cardiac plexus, goes into heart, the right side does this SA node, conducting system, also the lungs, also they go to celiac plexus for digestion enzyme, stomach, pancreas and small intestine. Right up to that, the vagus nerve goes, it's a long nerve. But the fibers come from brainstem, which are upper associated with hypothalamus, the anterior part, and division. And from that, what I've explained in the beginning, now you can really see how autonomic nervous system plays an important role in chakras as well as endocrine system, and how they work together as a neuroendocrine balance to make sure that all the involuntary actions, subconscious, unconscious functions of the body are automatically taken care of without any conscious control of our mind or the body. As a result, we are free to make optimum use of ourselves, to spiritualize ourselves or go for spiritual enlightenment. And when every system of the body, whether endocrine, nervous system, autonomic nervous system, or 100 trillion cells are perfectly healthy, then Kundalini can definitely rise to the higher levels and activate the higher centers and be in tune with nature. And that is true spiritual journey, spiritual evolution, awakening, ascension, and enlightenment. From that, if Kundalini or Antaratma, with the help, is able to control autonomic nervous system completely, endocrine system completely, make the physical health, emotional, mental perfect, then we can go to higher centers much better. That's why I started talking about higher centers of consciousness. From that angle, I think it's very clear how we can spiritualize to go higher by taking care of these centers, their endocrine systems, and autonomic ganglions, the nerves, and central nervous system, which is the master control. As I've said, and as a medical professor, I would love people to understand nervous system first, then endocrine system, and then go to rest of the system, because all these things are finally controlled by these systems first. Wisdom autonomic nervous system, our nervous system, and endocrine system is absolutely essential. And to understand these better, a complete, precise scientific knowledge of these 10 plus centers of consciousness or chakras is absolutely essential to make spiritual journey easy. That is one of the reasons why I have started taking this as the first. Make you aware this is how you start. You start from top down, not bottom up. You need to bring impeccable wisdom first, so the confusion goes, and your proper theoretical knowledge helps you to spiritualize much better. So all your contemplative meditation on the higher centers would be able to give you the kind of wisdom which is required to understand the ancient Indian wisdom and understand divine nature completely and make optimum use to produce the kind of walking talking encyclopedia for the benefit of the world, to reduce all the misinformation we have about all the subjects from school, college to the university. Having done that, let's last picture. You're going to see the same thing in this. You have Ida, Pingla, Sushmana, all the chakras. Let me not go into details of much. I think what's spoken, I think little bit, I'm adding more and more information so that we have at the end impeccable wisdom arising, knowing which everything is fully known, and we can make optimum use of human birth and life per se. So, thank you very much for kind listening. It has been enlightening for me to share my experiences with a symbolic representation of this nature. Thank you once